How often do you think about changing the combat role of your class in Battlefield 5? For most scenarios, it is a set it and forget it feature, as only a few of them have perks worth using and no other benefit in sight. What's going on, guys and gals? My name is Shadox, and today we are asking the question, what happened to archetypes? Back when Battlefield 5 was announced in May of last year, we were told about a new concept for how classes would play in-game. We would be able to select the 4 main classes just like before, but then each class would have a further choice of specializations called archetypes. These acted sort of like operators in Rainbow Six or Legends in Apex, where each archetype would have unique abilities, weapons, and gadgets to suit different playstyles. Sounds cool, right? You could have an assault fully kitted out for anti-vehicle warfare, bringing the best explosives to the table. Or choose one suited for fragging, where you would have large ammo reserves, fast movement, and a wide selection of weapons. Or how about a recon that actually performs reconnaissance behind enemy lines with suppressed weapons, spawn beacon, and can perform silent and sick melee takedowns? How does this compare to what we have now? The combat roles, as they are now known, only give 2 perks to differentiate themselves from the other, and that is the absolute extent of the differences between, say, the light infantry role and the vehicle buster role in the assault class. Without more meaningful differences, players will most often just set their combat role to the one with the best passive perks and forget the feature even exists. To show you why this is the case, let's take a look at exactly what each combat role offers and compare them to the other in the same class. Starting out with the assault, we currently have 2 combat roles, light infantry and vehicle buster. Light infantry gives you more ammunition off dead bodies and more health regen. These perks are perfect for the aggressive player as it lessens the effect of attrition, so you can keep fighting longer than any other class. Vehicle buster, on the other hand, will spot enemy vehicles when you damage them and give bonus requisition points when destroying a vehicle. The problem with these two is that they don't benefit the user directly unless he is a squad leader, I guess. The spot can be useful to let planes know where a tank is, but otherwise tanks can just as easily be spotted with the danger ping or by a revolutionary spotting gadget called your eyes. What makes things worse is that a spotted vehicle will obviously attract more attention, increasing the likelihood that someone will steal your vehicle kill, which is a significant amount of points. As for the second perk for Vehicle Buster, the extra requisition points can be useful, I guess, but it's not a large amount in any means. At most, you are looking at the possibility of maybe your squad being able to call in an extra V1 at the end of the round, but only if you are playing on a map with lots of vehicles and you can survive long enough to kill said vehicles. So which would you rather run with? Should you choose the role that helps you directly for the entire match, or should you choose the role that helps out other people slightly? I think the decision is fairly obvious. Okay, but that's just one class, so let's keep moving. Alright, so Medic has 2, once again, Field and Combat Medic. Field Medic will give you a small boost to requisition points when you heal squad mates, and you can sprint faster when you spot a down player revive icon to let them know that you are coming. The healer trait is essentially useless, as the amount of requisition points you will accumulate by healing squad mates is minimal compared to other actions. The swift effort trait could be useful, except in most cases you're going to be coming out of a sprint anyways to pop smoke on the body, so you just nullified your own perk. Honestly, I would just start spotting dead players even if I had zero intention on actually reviving them, just to get the speed boost. Alright, so what about the second role? Combat Medic allows you to perform melee takedowns from a further distance and do the animations significantly quicker. Okay, so you get a direct improvement to your lethality. How about the second perk? Emergency Retreat will make you sprint faster when at critical health. Okay, so you're about to die, and this gives you a buff that helps you escape and survive. I'm gonna keep it real, this role is 100% better than Field Medic. Third time's a charm, I guess. Let's take a look at the support class. Engineer is essentially the way to go for tankers. You get faster vehicle fixing and fortification building, but let's be real, who actually cares about fortification build time? The second perk in Engineer makes it longer to overheat from static HMGs, AA cannons, and vehicle turrets. Sounds pretty damn good, and is actually really helpful to the survival of your team's vehicles. Machine Gunner, on the other hand, causes more suppression and spots people that are suppressed. This role is sort of useful. Since you can cause more suppression, you will spot enemies quicker by suppressing them. However, suppressing an enemy just lets them know exactly where you are so they can line up a headshot. But I guess if you spot a metric fuck ton of enemies, then you'll get a lot of points. So, yay? Alright, so support has a useful role and a somewhat limited useful role. It's better than the other classes, I guess, so let's see about recon. Alright, so the first combat role for the Recon class is Sniper, and the first trait allows you to spot enemies when you shoot them. Alright, maybe this will help you get follow-up shots. The second perk allows you to hold your breath longer, and your breath is completely replenished when you get a headshot kill. This is awesome, something that actually rewards skilled play and is beneficial. Now, how about Pathfinder? You can spawn on other teams' spawn beacons outside your squad, and you get more requisition points when someone uses your beacon. Here's the main issue with this perk. It's pretty small, but still noteworthy. You get rewarded for dying. The better you play, the worse this perk is. How do any of these combat roles promote different styles of play? How does it help when only one role is actually useful for the class? How does it allow for a player to get creative with their squad composition? When we take a look at other games, we see a far superior system to classes. Each operator provides a unique advantage to their team, so here's an example of how I would make archetypes better by making them actually different. Let's start out with Assault. Now I'm proposing 3 different archetypes: Shock Trooper, Combat Engineer, and Demolitions Expert. The Shock Trooper is your run and gun guy. He can use assault rifles and shotguns as his primary, and has a frag rifle and a spotting flare as his gadgets. His perks are the same as Light Infantry: more ammo and health regen. This is the guy that you want to choose if you want to rack up lots of kills and do it extremely well. Demolitions Expert is a bit less capable in a gunfight, but more than makes up for it in his explosive personality. He has access to carbines and SMGs, but has access to dynamite, a limpet charge, and heavy shoulder-fired rockets like the Panzerfaust 100 or Bazooka. His perks are increased ammo capacity for his gadgets, and critical hits on vehicles will deal 15% more damage. If there's a house that needs to be leveled or a tank that needs to be killed, this is the guy that you want to roll with. The Combat Engineer is a mixture of the two. He's not the best at anti-infantry or anti-vehicle, but he's capable in both. His primaries are the assault rifles and the semi-automatic weapons, and has access to the AT mine, Bouncing Betty, and the smaller shape charge projectiles like the Sturm Pistol or Panzerfaust 60. His perks allow him to not trigger emplaced explosives like the AT mine or Bouncing Betty, and this is because he's knowledgeable about how they work. His second perk allows him to construct all fortifications, including stationary weapons, although he will not do it as fast as a support engineer class. All assault archetypes would also have an additional ability, and this would be brought up using the reinforcement wheel, even if they're not the squad leader. This ability would equip them with a ground flare, and when thrown would call in a mortar strike on that location that would send 3 mortar rounds in a tight area. This would help supplement both their anti-infantry abilities against camping enemies and also vehicles to ensure that camping tanks regret their decisions. I know some of you may feel that this idea does not feel like it belongs in Battlefield, and I can understand that reasoning. However, there is hardly any class diversity in Battlefield 5. The current combat roles do nothing to add depth to the game, and inter-class strategies are virtually non-existent. Imagine an assault archetype that is guaranteed a critical hit if a vehicle is being tracked by a recon, or a support helping out a combat engineer take down vehicles because they both have smaller explosives. Or what about a recon class that actively encourages and rewards a player for being on the objective or flanking behind enemy lines with suppressed submachine guns? The point is, if combat roles were used this way, there would be more squad functionality, more tactics involved in how your squad composition actually looks, and overall just more fun actually engaging with your squad mates as you team up to take on different situations. If you had an archetype that could deal with a specific thing that you are good at, I guarantee that you would be using that the majority of the time, and you would have a lot more fun because of it. There is so much potential that is simply not being realized in Battlefield 5. The concept that we were shown at the reveal last year was phenomenal. The sneaky recon class that I talked about was even shown off in a UI mockup, but now all we have is a watered down version. We have not received any new combat roles, and the ones that we do have are either barely rewarding players for their skill or just objectively inferior to the one that does. But at the end of the day, I am not a developer. I'm just a guy here on YouTube trying to get my voice heard. So let me know what you guys think. Give me feedback and let's try to come up with the best way to help fix this issue. Better yet, in the comments below, I want you to come up with your own archetype. Whether or not it's balanced, OP, who cares? I'm actually curious to see what you guys can come up with. My name is Shadox, and I hope to see you on the battlefield.
Placing charges!